Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Zebec network. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you were in the Discord, we called this out, around May 10th. May 10th is when we called this out. Somewhere down here, we can see, one of the users up already $2,000. And this was on the 23rd when they said that. So this was roughly around this price over here, right? This price over here, maybe even a little bit lower. And we can see, right, they were up 80 something percent. So it was somewhere here. They peaked at almost 3 times their money in just a little while. Listen, we are going to be calling out multiple new coins, only quality ones, to make sure that there's a very high probability of success. But look, let's carry on, right? Let's talk about the actual analysis. Look, we can see this coin has been consolidating for a very long time, roughly a year, right? If we take and make a box, we can see more or less it has been ranging from 0.008 to 0.0013. Yeah, sometimes it did spike a little bit higher, but overall it was consolidating. This is why when I saw this coin starting to break up and I read about the project, I was like, you know what, I know this coin is going to fly. I just know. Okay, because any coin that goes sideways for roughly a year has good fundamentals, is bound to shoot up. And we can see, right, just a few short weeks later, it has gone nuclear. Okay, it has gone nuclear. This coin is currently sitting at 325 million market cap. It has a lot of volume, 130 million volume in the last 24 hours. And we can see, right, it has almost all of its circulating supply. And things are just looking very good. It is also on the Solana chain, which is what we love to see. We know Solana is always going to bring a lot of volume. Solana is just probably the best chain out there for coins, in my opinion, especially something like meme coins and just projects in general. Okay, we can see we are ranked 165 in the world. I do believe we will be hitting that top, debatably top 50 this cycle. I do think this coin is going to be doing very well, right? This project, more or less, ladies and gentlemen, to sum it down, they want to be paying people even by the second when it comes to payments and cryptos and everything. Okay, so that's what I love to see. That is what I love to see. And even just in terms of the technical analysis, right, like I said, we are consolidating for roughly a year, right? We created kind of equal highs up here. We kind of created equals highs up here. I knew we were going to explode. We exploded, and now we are at all-time highs. Okay, we are at all-time highs. You see the highs were over here, and now I expect this coin to kind of retest this area, because that is a very key area. So it would not surprise me if I saw this coin come down a little bit more, right? A little bit more, maybe consolidate again before we see this coin rise. Now, here's the thing. Here is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, right? Something like Bitcoin is bound to explode over the next week. We know this because if we go to the weekly and we add the indicator, boom, global liquidity index, we change it from yellow to, let's just say, blue. Boom, here we go. If you guys are not aware with the settings I have, I realize there's a very key detail, right? If we look at the global liquidity top, look 91 days later, we can see the last green candle, right? Liquidity was here and then it fell off a cliff. And then we can see the same thing at the bottom, right? If we take the global liquidity index from the bottom to the last red candle, 91 days. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this current moment, we are sitting at somewhere right over here, right? We are sitting right over here in terms of global liquidity. So I expect an expansion soon for Bitcoin, not only because of that, but because of the actual charts themselves of the fundamentals. We've been talking about the reversals, since 75K, right? We've been talking about 75K for a while now. But look, if we take the bottoms, 91 days. So overall, I expect within the next week for there to be big pumps. So, I do expect our coin, our beloved Zebec coin, to slow down a little bit over the next week or next couple of days, but I do expect it to have a huge comeback and resurgence and continuation pumps for some time. Okay, I do believe this coin is going to do very well this cycle. I still believe even right now, if you got in like at this very moment, you would be getting yourself a 10x at the minimum, in my opinion, right? You know, we in the community, we did buy lower, right? Where actually, what day was when it was in terms of market cap? It was somewhere, yeah. So we bought around 135 million market cap, something like that, between 140, 130 million market cap. So yeah, things are looking good. I expect, you know, very, very big things to be happening with this coin over the next little while. And if we actually go and look, something I also wanted to share that I've seen on the timeline, ladies and gentlemen, right? We can see that with some of the biggest money movers in the world involved in one form or another, Zebec, this blockchain company, is a clear winner, in my opinion, from the smart money, generational wealth potential. We can see, right? We have some of the bigger companies. We have Visa, I mean, MasterCard, JP Morgan, BlackRock, you know, we have so many big boys involved. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, this coin is going to do absolute wonders. Okay, it's going to be in the finance industry, real world asset type coin. I mean, it has some of the strongest narratives. I mean, just even some of the strongest technical analysis, like we just talked about, how like the consolidation has been insane, right? This is why I am super, super high on this coin. This is why I picked and chose, you know, to talk about this coin in the Discord, and I'm making videos on it now, okay? Because I do believe this coin is going to have a fantastic future, right? Look, ladies and gentlemen, right? We can see more, right? More, boom. All of this, like this is fantastic. This is literally fantastic. Like, people are clowning this coin after it pumped like 600% from its bottoms. Look, if Zebec is a scam, then Ripple is even a bigger one, just saying, right? People are always gonna call everything a scam. I see people, you know, talking about Turbo being a scam. If you guys don't know, I make Turbo videos every single day, and people talk about this coin being a scam. They call everything a scam nowadays. So you can't just listen to the noise, okay? You can't just listen to people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Do your own research, of course. Do your own research. Look at the charts with whatever knowledge you have, right? If you have some type of knowledge, you know, are the things I'm saying making sense? Because, you know, the data suggests it does, right? You know, just always do your own research as well. But like, seriously, cut the noise. Cut the noise. I do believe this coin is going to do absolute wonders over the next couple of weeks. Since some accounts are shitting over Zebec and calling it a scam, would someone please like to check a country called Japan to see how they're doing with the scam? Thanks. So yeah, a lot of people are calling it a scam supposedly. I haven't really seen too much. I'm not on social media that much. I post every single day, but in terms of scrolling, tweeting, and all this, you know, I'm not really there. So yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I should have, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.